Hi guys, so today I'm going to do my typical spread with a little bit of a bonus on the end, and I'll explain that when we get to that. But I started with a Mystical Shaman Oracle, and it was number 2, the Andean Cross. And the Andean Cross represents the cosmology of the shaman. It depicts the 4 cardinal directions, the upper and lower worlds, and the steps to reach these realms. The hole in the center is a gateway to the interdimensional travel, the proverbial eye of the needle we can all go through to experience higher states of awareness and wisdom, and to break free of linear time. The invitation says, the Andean Cross announces the start to a great journey. It's time to raise your gaze from the mundane day to day to that which until now has seemed beyond your grasp, and allow the new wisdom to guide you, and stop trying to make sense of it all before you respond with a resounding yes. I needed that message today because I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. I woke up, and I do this from time to time. It's almost like, you have all these hopes, and you get, you understand things like innerly, like you have that hope and that faith. And I do still have that, like, through all of this, even when I'm in like really shitty situations, I understand. And I've always felt this way as a kid because, I've been through some crazy stuff growing up. It's, it's not like I haven't had that type of trauma, but for some reason, there's always been this thing where it's like, I know that it's all going to be okay in the end. You know what I mean? I'm still here. I'm still alive. I made it, and there's people out there that have it way worse than I do. But this unwavering faith that sometimes is a little shaky, and it's more about being in this life, being in this 3D, as they say, realm, understanding that you have to kind of separate that in a way. But at the same time, especially if you are somebody who you have people relying on you, or whether that be children, your family members, or just, the situation in general. Maybe you work somewhere and then you feel like obligated or things like that. So worldly obligations. And I mean, it's a little bit different. I don't want to make parenthood seem like an obligation because, I love my kids. I love my family. That's what makes my life so full, is the love that I have in my life. So a lot of times, like when you're trying to do the right thing, all the things that kind of threaten that, like, you're like, I'm excited and I want to do this thing and I want to do that thing and I want to like venture off and I want to, do my calling and I want to, express myself and do things creatively and da-da-da-da. But then like you step back and then you kind of like, I don't know if you're like me and you kind of look around and you're like, oh, well, I should have done that and I should have took care of that bill because now I'm like 4 months behind, that kind of thing. And then it kind of, you wake up with this like, shocking realization. And I don't want that to sound like what your spiritual path is, or what that deeper dreamy sense of that kind of guides us, that all that gives us that push and that faith, right? That is still real. To me, that is still real. It's pushing through these these moments of like, well, am I doing it for is it worth it? Should I really be doing all these things? Should I really be diverting my attention? Or should I be, pushing the grindstone and da-da-da-da? Because all in all, I'm still doing that. But when you wake up and then you're like, how am I going to take care of this, right? So it's just, when the world around you feels like it's kind of falling in, it's pushing through that and understanding that sometimes I feel like it's almost like a buffer. It's almost like understanding that, okay, well, how are you going to react to this essence? Because, you're going towards this thing, this calling, this whatever you're trying to do on a spiritual level that might kind of push some physical boundaries as far as like, if it's tangible. And having that faith is important. So I think a lot of times it's testing us in that way. And it sounds silly, and then it's kind of like I go through these things, and I'm sorry, this is like a really long explanation, but I feel like I need to express this. So that's what my podcast is going to be for, if I ever get that started. But and I feel like there's this thing where it's almost like I feel like, well, am I just being silly? Am I thinking outside of myself? Should I just like buckle down and do what I have to do and da-da-da and forget all this stuff? But I can't because it feels right. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to express that. Like, I have never felt so, I don't know, right? as I have when I've kind of experienced, I think I'm going to cry out here in this parking lot. But anyway, like pursuing this and doing the deeper spiritual things. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a kind of confirmation for myself to realize that no, it's okay. There is a balance that you can do, and you just have to figure it out, or maybe ask for help, which is really hard for me. Anyways, so all that being said, maybe that's something that somebody else needs to do is, realize that it's, feel those feelings. I mean, if it feels right to you, if it really feels like, no, you're not crazy, and that this is, your emotions and your feelings and your spiritual self is that important and big to you, then you don't need to feel like it's not important just because other people might not have those same feelings. I guess I think that's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, so my first column is kind of like who the energy is, what this message is for, kind of like the person in the situation, whether it be personal or situational or whether it is collective. And we have temperance, and we have temperance with the 10 of Cups. So and I kind of feel that too. It's kind of like, our 10 of Cups is our, what gives us that ultimate satisfaction at the core. It's not just money. It's not just love. It's not just whatever. It's being in a state of contentment. That's what the 10 of Cups feels like for me, is being content. And the world can crumble down around you, and you still have that at your core. You still have whatever it is that gives you that contentment. And so I feel like with the temperance, this is kind of like being patient when things are crazy. So this is kind of like somebody who is realizing that there are going to be some crazy stuff, and you kind of have to like have that balance and understanding, and really transforming those scary moments or those testy moments is kind of like how you get to that contentment. It's it opens those doors, it opens those portals, and I just got chills when I said that. It opens that divine faith, that understanding of, how to push through and how to get to that thing, right? Anyways, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's different because it's like, if it was just me and I was all by myself, dude, I'd be, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But like me and my husband have always said since day one, since we had kids, we said that those kids were meant to ground us, because who knows where we would be. We were wild, so when we were younger. But I think a lot of people that are kind of like, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think a lot of people that are kind of like more in tuned to, or more inclined, I should say, because I feel like we all have the ability to be in tuned. It's more inclined to be in the spiritual way. I feel like a lot of times we are kind of wild when we're younger, because you feel things so emotionally and you kind of crave that connection to the other realms, right? Anyways, long story short, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm all over the place. Anyways, so my second column is kind of like what we need to focus on, whether it be good or whether it's something we need to work on. Either way, we have the Tower and we have the Hierophant. So, that could be, we're kind of in a moment, understanding that we're kind of focusing on the status quo is kind of crumbling. I don't know. I'm sure we all can feel that right now. But I think it's bigger than that. I don't think it's just, and not to sound like that, but I always say that too. I always say that in my readings, like, well, not to sound all woo-woo. Well, okay, I'm a tarot reader on YouTube. Anyway, but I apologize for me today. Today is a wonky day for me. If it is for you, let me know so I don't feel so bad. I need that confirmation that it's not just me. Anyway, so... but I feel like it's bigger. I feel like it's bigger. Like, it's almost like it's kind of like a correctness has to happen. It's almost like the universe is like, okay, we've had this, whatever this is, for long enough, where people are shitty to other people, and we push this on people and we suppress. So we have to fix that. Maybe that loud car is a confirmation for somebody. I don't know. But there's also this feeling that this Tower, against like the status quo, or this authoritativeness, right, is kind of about maybe this Tower is bringing like an initiation, and I don't know where the hell that came from. That literally just came out of the air of nowhere, so that has to be for somebody. This feels like these towers that we keep having, and these things give us these insights. And like with the Hierophant, the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite, it's the Pope type guy, and he's got like the 2 initiates. And if you look, this is an owl, right? This owl is, it's wisdom. This is somebody having wisdom. So it's bringing us wisdom. It sounds really lame to say it that way, but that's what I feel like this is saying, is right now we need to focus on the wisdom coming from the tower and from the foundation crumbling, and also to understand what kind of wisdom we need to build our new tower, right? Anyway, and so my third column is always kind of like our support, the things we have around us, our assets, what kind of skills we have, what kind of people are around us, the energy in the atmosphere, all that kind of stuff. And so we have the 6 of Wands, and we also have the 4 of Cups. So for me, a lot of times, like right out the gate, if it was just super positive, it is, Spirit is giving us a cup. I always think of the 4 of Cups as the Spirit is giving us a cup, or we have a cup that we are supposed to be paying attention to, and sometimes we miss it. We don't realize how important it would be for us to take that cup and how beneficial that cup is. And it's almost like we're realizing that, this cup is, that's for me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that feeling. And I feel like with the 6 of Wands, it's almost like, this is your cup of success. You need to take it, right? Take this cup, like your guides, universe, spirit, what have you, your higher self is trying to give you this successful cup, this cup that will give you that success. And maybe also with the 6 of Wands, sometimes that can also mean that like you have people that want to see you succeed. You have people that want to support you in this thing, right? This cup, whether it be your emotional life, and whether it be your spiritual path, or whether it be like a creative thing in your life, they want to see you succeed. So take it. Quit denying it. Damn it. So that's kind of what I get with this, is like, somebody, and I feel like I do that too. Like we don't realize that, oh, that cup's for me, oh, that's mine. I can do it. You know what I mean? And we kind of have to remind ourselves that time. So, and especially like when you wake up and the weight of the world is heavy, that sounds like a song. I think it is. I think it's a Modesty song, but it's like heavy on your shoulders, and you're just kind of like, oh, am I doing the right thing? I should stop playing around, right? When it's not playing around. That's what we were conditioned to think. That is the cycle that we are trying to break, people. We're trying to break the thing that, oh no, working your 9 to 5 and giving all your money to people that just don't want to give it back to you, and then you have to jump through hoops in order to, feed your family and do all these other things, even though you went to college, all these things. But you know what I mean? It's like, and then trying to not be bitter about it, I guess, is a thing too. But, man, this is a really bad rant today. I am so sorry for you guys, but maybe somebody else is in this energy too, and you can kind of relate. But I feel like, yes, let's stop denying ourselves that cup and realizing that we are meant for success. And whether that be other people, or whether these are our spirit guides, these 6 wands of energy, of spiritual energy, are wanting us to succeed, right? They are uplifting us, and we are being given this cup. So we need to be good receivers, right? And then my last column is the Fool and the 9 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords, and there's that mouse energy. If you resonated with my reading yesterday, the mouse energy was in there too, with acceptance. So maybe that's something. Maybe it is like the Fool, the Fool is, we're kind of like, he doesn't worry about things, but it's also sometimes the Fool, it can be like a warning with the 9 of Wands, kind of like, don't carry on those worries from the past into this next leap, right? Take that leap forward without those worries. Those worries and those knives and those swords, what those have done is they've kind of given you wisdom. You've learned from all those things that kind of like felt hard or mentally overwhelming you. So I think we're being asked to drop those things that, make you overthink. And just like with the Indian cross, where it's like, don't overthink it. Don't, just say yes to this new journey, and know and feel and look deep inside and use your emotions and use your heart and understand what that is trying to tell you, because that's the problem that I've been dealing with. And I think anybody with responsibility, you get it, right? You wake up and you're like, oh, I have this, that, and the other thing to do. You know what I mean? And then conditioning comes in. So I feel like this is a time where, we're really asking to kind of change the status quo. Like, what is the status quo? The status quo is, you get up and you go to work, and, I'm not telling people to quit their jobs and put themselves into homelessness, but, pursue that thing that gives you passion, pursue that career, that path, that creative thing, whatever it is, pursue it, that gives you that good feeling of contentment, right? Leave all those, stress and those worries and those 9 swords of conditioning that kind of stab you in the back and make you feel like, you're not worthy. You are worthy. Before all of this thing, like, I was just thinking that too, like on the way to work, like I was talking to God, Spirit, Universe, angels, ancestors. And a lot of times I do that and I'm like, I shouldn't feel bad about like not having the right word, because whatever it is knows what it is. The words that we create for these things are also conditions. The situations, the rituals, the things, these are things that people have created. So if you're doing the thing in your own way, it is your own way. It's your way to spirit. And that has been kind of like that's kind of been like my life vest through everything, is understanding that at the core, there is no right or wrong way. It's what gives you that good feeling. And you can, understand that, like, if you are really doing the good thing that's deep inside you, that feels good, it gives you no resistance, then it can't be a bad thing, right? No, I don't think anybody goes to like cause harm to somebody and not feel a twinge of empathy. If they do, then there's something wrong with them. But I honestly feel like generally, when you look inside yourself, that's your inner compass. That's your inner Andean cross. You know what is right for you and what is right. And all the other things is just fluff. It's just other people's ideas and conditions and their own shadows being cast on you, right? And then if you look over there, we have 2 Herbal Astrology cards. We have our Sage and we have Rose, which is blessings and love. And I feel like this is saying that, like, you have blessing of spirit, whatever that means to you, whether it's inner, outer, or whatnot. And you also have blessings from, your loved ones, those 6 wands, right? It could be your ancestors or your guides, but it also could be people, tangible people that you can see, that you see every day, or even people you don't see every day, but energetically you're connected, right? You have that is your support. And understanding that that is also a gift. Understanding that feeling of contentment when you're doing something that you feel is right and that makes you feel good, that's a blessing. So that's kind of what we need to remember. And I just got chills again. So it's kind of like, it's not wrong and it's not irresponsible if you feel it, right? I don't know. You can tell I'm having a lot of inner struggling today. But anyway, so when I was doing my cards, I went to go put my the rest of my deck to the side after I used my my Otherkin tarot, and these 3 cards fell out, which I thought was really interesting. So we have the 4 swords, the Hermit, which the Hermit has been for me nonstop, and the 8 of Swords. So to me, this feels like, we really need to tap into that inner wisdom. I've been getting that I need to up my my inner withinness. I need to like get back to like a stronger meditation practice, because there's something I feel like I'm being guided to figure out, or just know, and sit with. And I feel like that's a message too, that is how you get over all those swords in your head. That's how you're going to see through the blindfold, right? That is how you are going to be able to get that intuition a little bit stronger. So I feel like we're being asked to kind of allow that inner wisdom to guide you, and understand that it is okay to rely on that. It's okay to feel your feels and be this person that you feel that you are, right? It's crazy. Like, I don't know. I know I'm going on a rant today, but I feel like a lot of people are kind of feeling this way too. It's almost like, I want to do this thing, but then conditioning tells me that I'm not supposed to do this thing, that I'm supposed to do something else, and but that's not it. So anyways, I rambled on a lot, and I appreciate you guys for still staying with me. If you are here, don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe. You can visit my Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys later.